HillHaven is a project that's going to be launched and the preview will be on 6 January 2024. Right now we're going to explore together on the floor plans and what might be a potential good buy for you. So a short introduction to HillHaven. So HillHaven is just 4 minutes to the HillView MRT station. It's next to one of the newly TOP project, Midwood, very near to the Helia and HillV2 Mall. Right, so it's one of the projects that will be launched amidst of the rest of the residential projects that haven't been launched yet. So this is the artist's impression. There is 2 blocks, total 341 units. Either you are pool facing or you are facing the back, the landed enclave. So if you are pool facing, this pool is also above the multi-story car park. So this is the illustration of how the pool area will be like. Okay, so based on these blue blocks, you can see that the pool facing would actually be facing towards Midwood. So this is Midwood, and this part over here would actually be the HillV2. Yeah, so the facing this part would actually be north, right? And right behind us, so this plot of land here is termed as the education zone, and so it will be a school. So whoever is facing towards this direction, this is more or less a guaranteed view, almost an unblocked view as long as you are above level 5, facing towards the landed enclave. So usually for pool facing stack is the premium stack, and usually the PSF will also be slightly higher. But because of this layout, there's a good chance that the stack that's facing towards the landed area would actually be a higher PSF compared to the pool facing one. There's a more premium stack. So another thing to take note is that stacks that are facing this part, facing towards the pool, level 13 and above, there will be grills. So the purpose of the grill for this direction is because of the HillView cam. So if you want, you can actually pause the video over here to take a look at the stack that have the grills. So this is a sample of how the north-facing grills will be like. Additional information about HillHaven is that they will TOP in Q3 2027, and for the car park ratio, it's pretty good. It's a 1:1 car park ratio. So this is the layout for HillHaven. So there's 2 bedder up to 4 bedder. If you notice, there is no 1 bedder for this area, because this area likely people will buy for own stay. So let's dive right into the floor plan. So first we're going to go into the 2 bedder. So for 2 bedder itself, there's actually 3 different kinds of layout. We have the 678 square feet, 700 square feet, as well as the largest for 2 bedder would be 721 square feet. So for 678 square feet, the facing will be north facing. So these 2 units are located at stack 5 as well as stack 6. So the main difference for B1A as well as B1B. So for B1A, master bedroom is on the right hand side. For B1B itself, the master bedroom is on the left hand side. This is actually a dumbbell layout. So what's a dumbbell layout? Upon entering, you have your rooms on your left hand side as well as the rooms on your right hand side. The layout of this unit is quite good. You have a kitchen tucked at one corner, and you have the option to actually create a closed kitchen concept over here. So you notice for the common room itself, for the common toilet, this toilet is actually a Jack and Jill toilet. So what's a Jack and Jill toilet? A Jack and Jill toilet is a toilet that allows you to come in from both the bedroom as well as the common area. So effectively, if you close this door, this whole place can be a junior master suite. So let's compare 700 square feet as well as 678 square feet. For 700 square feet, it's also the same. It's a dumbbell unit, but the facing is different. So the facing for 700 square feet would actually be the south facing. This is towards the landed enclave. So it will be stack 2 as well as stack 9. So comparing the 2 layout, which is B2A as well as B2B, the only difference again would actually be the right and left side. So master bedroom is on the left hand side for B2A. Master bedroom is on the right hand side for B2B. So based on the floor plan for 678 square feet as well as 700 square feet, if you walk in itself, I don't think you'll feel much of a difference for that 22 square feet. But based on the price point, and for this difference of 22 square feet, if the PSF that is facing the landed is a bit more premium, estimate maybe a 2001 PSF, this is just estimation, the difference would actually be about near 50k, 46,000 plus. So for this reason, if I were to pick, I would actually go for the lower quantum one at 678 square feet. So all this price is just an estimation for now. The actual price will only be released on booking day. So from 6 January to 16 January, that's where the preview is. And on the booking day itself, usually we will have to analyze and go through the price trend to see which is a better buy. The last unit itself for the 2 bedder would actually be 721 square feet. This would actually be a north facing, but only one stack, which is stack 12. So the layout itself is where the rooms are all tucked in one side. So some people do actually prefer this kind of layout compared to a dumbbell unit because they just want to have more privacy, especially for the master bedroom itself. Same thing, you do have the option for the kitchen right here to be an enclosed kitchen. So within these 3, which I feel would be actually a good buy would actually be at 721 square feet. Why 721 square feet is this? because of the limit, the amount of supply for that unit itself. 678 square feet to 700 square feet, you can see that based on the supply, the overall supply is 31% of the overall developments. But just for 721 square feet, because it's only one stack 12, the supply is less than even 8%. So for people that actually prefer this layout, they do not have actually as much option. So if yourself in the market, you know more or less, you will be probably the minority or the rarity, the one that is selling the unit. Another thing would actually be the entry price. So you can see what I written down over here. So for stack 12, it's actually facing north facing. So north facing, the price may be slightly lower compared to the south facing, which is the premium stack. So for 700 square feet, the facing would actually be like stack 9. And assuming that the pricing for 700 square feet is slightly more than the stack that is facing towards the north, if I multiply, the price would actually be about 1.47. So at 721 square feet at 2000 PSF, the price would actually be about 1.442. So the difference would actually be just at 28,000. So if this is around the price range that the developer will launch, I would definitely go for 721 square feet. So let's take a look at 2 plus study. So for 2 plus study, this might be one of my favorite layout in the development itself. So here's why. 2 plus study, there's only 2 stack, which is stack 4 or stack 7, and they are north facing. And the difference between those 2 stacks is either the bedrooms are all on the left hand side or the bedrooms are all on the right hand side. So just take one of the floor plan. So let's take a look at the floor plan for the 2 plus study. So the first thing if you notice the 2 plus study is that there is lots of windows. There's one window in the kitchen, there's one window in the common toilet, there's one window in the study room, and there's one window in the master bedroom as well. This means that your place is going to be very bright and breezy, as well as the ventilation for the toilets especially and the kitchen is going to be very good. And I think is that this unit comes with an enclosed kitchen. If you have seen most of the 2 plus study, usually is a bit more rare to find an enclosed kitchen. Another thing more rare is also for the study room itself to have windows. So based on the 2-bedder at 721 square feet as well as the 2 plus study at 797 square feet, and if budget permits, I would feel that the 2 plus study would actually be a better buy because of the layout. This layout itself will be very comfortable for a small family to stay in, especially based on the demographic for this area, which most of them will actually buy for own stay. Another reason why the 2 plus study might be a good buy is when we take in comparison the 2 plus study plus a 3-bedder. So the 2 plus study is at 797 square feet. The smallest 3-bedder is at 947 square feet. So in terms of size, so the living room for 3-bedder is slightly bigger. They do have a proper common room compared to the 2 plus study, which the study room is actually a little bit smaller. But in terms of price jump and the price gap, will actually be as follows. So both the 2 plus study as well as the smaller 3-bedroom are all pool facing. So this is the north facing. So this will be the price jump for 2 plus study to the smallest 3-bedder. So the size for 947 minus away 797 square feet would actually be 150 square feet. So 150 square feet, I taking a PSF of estimated maybe about 1009 PSF, because the bigger the unit, usually slightly lesser the PSF, the price jump would actually be at 285,000. So this price jump would be a substantial amount for most buyers. So if the buyer can accept a room, a study room purely for study but not for bedroom, they may get a 2 plus study instead for own stay. So talking about 3-bedder, now let's officially head in to look at all the 3-bedders. So in total there are 4 different kinds of layout, out of which 3 is 3 plus study and one of it at 947 square feet, which you have already seen. So let's head into the difference for the unit at 1012 square feet. So these 2 units are actually C3 as well as C4. They are the landed facing and south facing. So the stack would actually be stack 10 as well as stack 1. So we take a look at the bigger units first to see what is the difference. So for type C3 and C4, the main difference would actually be the study area. So comparing these 2 layout, personal preference is I would actually go for this layout, type C3. So why do I feel that this layout is a better buy? Because you have actually seen multiple families with water closet that actually convert it back into a store. And because you have the water closet over here, for type C4, the study room itself would actually be smaller. But for type C3 itself, the study room is actually huge and you got the flexibility to use it as a utility room from the kitchen, or really close this up and really make it into a proper study room, as it also has a window over here. So this is based on experience. When I see buyer buying the house for own stay, usually this might be a more preferred choice for them. let's explore the 3-bedder that is less than 1,000 square feet. So these are the two different layouts. So at 958 square feet, you do actually have your study room over here. And at 947 square feet, there is no study room. So for this difference at 11 square feet, and the assumption is that the price is at 1,900 PSF, the price difference of 21,000, I would feel that the 958 is actually a better buy, because having this study room over here with a window allows the next buyer to have the option to have a real proper study room or even a music room for their kids. So one thing to take note is that for this layout itself, one of the bedrooms is actually on the other side of the hall. And because of this might be the only con about this unit, because I know some buyers, when they buy the unit, they would like all the rooms to be at one side so they can have full privacy. And if I narrow down to 958 square feet as well as 1012 square feet, I would feel that the 958 square feet might be a better buy if we are able to get 5th to 12th floor without the fins. So why level 5 to 12? Because I want to avoid the facing of the multi-story car park, and I want to avoid level 13 and above, which has the grills. If not, the C3 layout without the WC might be a better choice. Last but not least, let's look at the 4-bedder. So 4-bedder, there are two sizes. So the first size would actually be at 1259 square feet, and the other size would actually be 1378 square feet. Both their facing is towards the south facing, means towards the landed enclave. In terms of layout, they have a junior master suite at one side, and on the other side would actually be all the bedrooms. Another difference would be the kitchen. For D1 layout itself, you can actually access the utility from the kitchen, and from the utility itself is actually linked to the WC. So for the D2 layout, the storeroom and the WC is behind, so this allows you to hide all your barang-barang and items right inside the storeroom. And for D2, they do have the dry kitchen right outside. And for the final difference is the living space for this area. So you can see over here, they do have about roughly maybe about 6 window panels right here. And for this one, they have roughly about 3 window panels. And just because of this reason, it allows the place for D2 itself to be very bright. And if you open up the window panels, it's going to be super breezy. And for this reason, and for own stay, I would think that D2 would be a better buy, because once you step into this unit, you can definitely feel the spaciousness as well as the air circulation in the unit. So these are the floor plans for HillHaven, and these are the units that I think is a good buy. You can also comment right below to share which unit is also a good buy. So once again, the preview for this development starts on 6 January to 16 January 2024. So if you want to find out more, you can always drop us a PM. Do let us know if you have any queries for this development.